Hello everyone, it's Taylor, and today I'm here to talk to you about things that I may or may not want. Very vague, I know. It's actually sort of an anti-haul video, if you will. I have seen some new makeup products come out on the market recently, and I'm going to talk about today if they're tempting me at all. I'm going to go through the things I do and don't like about the releases, and then we'll go from there. Obviously, as you know, I will not be buying any of these products right now. Maybe one day, if I do have the space in my collection, or if I run out of a certain category and that item is still available, then I can look into purchasing it. So as these items are all new releases, I'll go ahead and put a picture up, maybe like here or something like that. I'll put a picture on the screen to show you what that item is if you've never seen it before. Without further ado, let's just hop into the things that I am anti-hauling. The Lime Crime Venus XL2 palette is something that I saw on Trendmood recently. And by the way, I have unfollowed Trendmood. That's another tip I would tell you for trying to have a successful no-buy year. I had to unfollow Trendmood because every time I saw something new, it was like, have to get it, especially if it's limited edition. You don't have to get it, and you don't have to torture yourself by getting those notifications or seeing those posts of new things that are coming. Back to the palette. Aside from the fact that Lime Crime is a controversial company, they're now at Ulta, so I feel like maybe they've gotten their crap together a little bit more than they had previously. But all that being said, this palette, it doesn't look nice to me. And if it looks nice to you, that's okay. We're all allowed to have different tastes in makeup, in color stories, you name it. But I just feel like there is not a cohesive color story. There are some warm shades, and then there's a light shade thrown into a group of warm dark shades, and then there's a green shade thrown into a bunch of orange shades, and it just, the mixture of cool to warm and light to dark is not cohesive enough for me. I feel like even though visually it was still kind of tempting, I would buy that palette, I'd bring it into my collection, and then I wouldn't use it at all because I wouldn't be able to be inspired to create easy or everyday looks. I would have to really sit down and almost plan out a look because of the color chaos that's going on in that palette. The other thing is that I'm not totally sold on the Lime Crime eyeshadow formula. I previously owned the original Venus palette, the small warm color story, and the mattes were fantastic. Some of the best matte eyeshadows I've ever used. However, the metallics left a lot to be desired. They weren't full coverage on the lid. They were kind of like just not a nice texture, not very creamy at all. So for as much as Lime Crime does cost, I want to be totally sold on the formula if I'm buying a palette that big. Another potentially controversial one is the Morphe Foundation. I will tell you right now, I don't know anything about the foundation. I don't know, I think I read that it's a soft matte finish, which is appealing to me. I like that. However, at first glance, it appears like it's in the same tube and packaging as the L'Oreal Pro Matte and Pro Glow. I think that's what they're called. So it's a drugstore looking foundation. And that foundation is $18. $18 for a Morphe foundation. I will tell you, I have no problem paying $18 for a foundation. I've paid double that for foundation. I don't mind spending and investing in base products because if your base is off, it will affect the rest of your face. That being said, it's Morphe. Morphe is not a brand that I would spend almost $20 for a foundation. They have hit and miss quality. They have so-so drugstore level packaging. I'm not trying to bash Morphe here. because I love their eyeshadow formula for the most part. There's a few exceptions. I am interested in trying more of their other type of products, and I genuinely do like their brushes. But they are, to me, a drugstore brand. I know they're not in any drugstores, but their quality level is sort of like a high-end drugstore brand. So I am not going to pay $20 for 1 ounce of foundation from Morphe. If you think that that's a good value, then I encourage you to try it. I think that's totally cool. Maybe after my no-buy year, I will even try it. I definitely want to see some reviews on it. Like I said, quality can be hit and miss from Morphe, so I'm going to watch some reviews. I'm going to look at some feedback for the foundation, and maybe one day I'll try it. But right now, I just think that I need to wrap myself around that price point for 1 ounce of Morphe foundation. The Casey Holmes and Physician Formula collaboration, I don't even know if it's launched yet. Like I said, I'm not trying to look at launch dates for things. I'm not trying to look at where they're being sold. The purpose of this video is not to tempt me or tempt you further into buying things. I'm just looking at the products for their face value, if you will, what the product offering is. So in the Casey Holmes collaboration, there is a bronzer, a blush, a highlight, I believe 3 eyeshadows, what is this item? Some sort of stick product, a butter lip cream, and then the butter fragrance spray. So let's just start with the easiest thing, the butter fragrance. That is nice in a compact that I smell very briefly as I put the powder on my face. I would not want that fragrance on my body for an extended period of time or as a perfume, something that I would keep getting whiffs of throughout the day. So that's a pass from me. The lip cream, not interested at all. Her face products, while I do like the butter formula from Physicians Formula, Casey Holmes is significantly deeper in skin tone than I am. She's got a good tan going on, and I personally do not. We've talked about this before. I'm a pale person, which is totally cool, but that just means that something that she has curated as her favorite products wouldn't work for me. The bronzer would be too deep. The blush is just a little too intense. I can't speak to its pigmentation, but looking at it in the pan, the color is a little too intense for me. And obviously the highlight is way too dark. So the face products, just right off the bat, they don't work for me. The other portion of this collaboration is the eyeshadows. You have a white sort of creamy, I assume you could use for your inner corners or your brow bone highlight. Then there's 2 warm shades, like an orangey and a reddy shade, and then a green sort of shimmery metallic shade. The green, like, why is it there? You can't create a cohesive color story from a white, an orange, a red, and a green. That just doesn't work. You could wear the green on its own, absolutely, but then you're having to pull in another palette to supplement that look. And looking at the red and the orange, I am actually very drawn to those eyeshadow colors, but referencing back to my tips on no shopping video, I went and looked at my collection and I have so much orange and red eyeshadow, warm eyeshadows in general. I don't need any more, so I just don't need it. It's not happening. The white, same thing. I have plenty of highlighting shades, of inner corner shades, those types of things. Everything I've mentioned up until this point may not have even stopped me from wanting or in previous years buying this collaboration, because I do like Casey Holmes. I think she's a very cool person from what I see here on YouTube. However, can we talk about that packaging? It is massive, like just way too big. If I can find a picture of the box like closed, I'll also put that up here, but it takes up entirely too much space. I have a relatively compact everyday makeup basket that I try to fit things in. So it wouldn't fit in there. I wouldn't travel with it, and it would just end up sitting around because the packaging is gargantuan. The Urban Decay Naked Reloaded palette. Surprise, surprise. Urban Decay has already come with another naked palette not long after discontinuing the original. Are we shocked? The color story itself is an interesting thing to me because if I cover up portions of the palette and look at one specific color or two colors side by side, they look beautiful. There are things that called to me. There's a soft sort of peachy coral, and there's a duo in there that's like a cool greigey brown with a cool silver glitter next to it. That, surprisingly, is calling to me. But if I look at the palette as a whole, I am not inspired by it. I've rambled about cohesive color stories, but there is not a cohesive color story. It is very hard, I think, to put something together from those shades that you've been given in that palette. There are so many light shades in this Naked Reloaded palette. There are 2 whites, there are like 3 light nudes, that soft peachy color that I already referenced. I don't understand why there's so much light in this palette because you can't create a full eye look when you don't have outer corner deepening shades or even powder shades to use as eyeliners or blending shades to layer into your crease. It's going to be a palette that you create very simple looks from, and it's just not enough for me, so I'm going to say pass. Okay. Nostalgia is getting me on this next and final product that we're going to talk about, and that is the Sola Look 90210 eyeshadow palette. I have so many fond memories of the original 90210 series. I grew up watching it with my mom, and I still remember the very final episode, spoiler alert, Donna and David's wedding, and my mom still might have the tape somewhere, but we recorded the final episode of 90210 on VHS. So that's how long ago it was. And we would just rewatch that VHS tape and relive those memories from the series. So it's definitely a nostalgia thing, which is a marketing tactic. I will tell you, it is meant to draw you in and get your money. Let's step away from nostalgia for a second. This color story is not for me. Plain and simple. It's actually a pretty nice layout when you see all of the colors swatched in a row. There are some very pretty blues, some royal blues, a little bit lighter blues, pops of pink, things like that. However, I have all of that in my collection. I have a few key blues that I keep because it's not a color I use often, so I don't need to expand that portion of my collection. I have quite a few pink shades because I actually do like coming up with pink eye looks, so I'm covered there. And then the remainder of the shades in the palette are sort of like coppery, bronzy lid shades, which, girl, let me tell you, I have enough to last probably the next 20 years. I don't need to invest in anything else. Also, I don't know anything about Sola Look as a brand. I don't know their eyeshadow quality. Looking at the swatches, it looks incredible, but from what I can tell, those are the company released swatches, so they are made to look the best that they possibly can. I don't know enough about the brand. I don't need an eyeshadow palette. Blue is not my go-to color, so even though I love the packaging, I adore the pictures all there, and the names are super cute. It's like Kelly loves Dylan, and Dylan loves Brenda, and, David loves Donna. I just think that's adorable. However, names are not enough. Packaging is not enough to buy a product. So I'm just gonna look at the pictures of it and think, wow, that's adorable. And that's as far as it's gonna go for me. I think I mentioned this already in the beginning of the video, but just in case I didn't, let me tell you. If you disagree with any of my opinions, that's okay. If you want to buy any of these products that I was talking about, that's okay. We are allowed to like different things. We are allowed to buy different things. We're allowed to create different looks, different makeup trends, things like that. That's why the beauty market is so vast. There's room for things that we all like and for us to do what we want when it comes to our own makeup collections. So if I did say something a little snarky about any of these products and I offended you, that was not my intention. I fully support your right to love and buy these products. However, I'm in my no-buy year, and sometimes it does make it easier to not shop when you can sit down and think of reasons why you don't need certain items or you don't need to expand your collection. So I think that's all I have to say for this video. Thank you so much for watching my Do I Want It / anti-haul video. And if you like these, like the video, leave comments down below. I can make this like a monthly thing if we want, or focus it more regularly on my channel. So let me know what you think. Like this video, subscribe to my channel for more no-buy year content, and if you've seen anything recently that you know for a fact that you don't want to buy or that you don't need, leave it down below. Let me know the reasoning why you're not going to get it, and let's all chat together about things we're not buying. Until the next time, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you later.